Well, thank you so much for joining us here on AccuWeather Weekend. I'm Bree.
And I'm Constanzer. We've got a lot to cover as we look across the nation because we've been following one storm system trying to work off the East Coast and then the West. Ooh, quite a change here.
Yeah, hop aboard the Pineapple Express. We have an atmospheric river event that is soaking and it's going to plan on continuing to soak the West Coast here, at least over the next following days. But you know, it's not just rain that we're talking about.
Yeah, we are looking at some mountain snow, at least in some locations, even getting down to some of the I-5 corridor. Places like Seattle and Portland could see some snowflakes as we go through the upcoming hours. And we'll be talking feet of snow in the Sierra later this week, while the East Coast feels the last of this storm system moving out. There's some snow throughout New England.
Yeah, it was pretty wet yesterday here across.
We do. We have a couple of inches of it across parts of New England and upstate New York. Some spots picking up quite half a foot of snow there, probably just enough to freshen things up as you look towards places like Whitehall, New York, and Amsterdam, New York. They're coming in with 4.9 inches, a couple of spots in Vermont. And by the way, the next on the list would have been in New Hampshire, as reports go. Storm system moving out here quite quickly, and the last of the snow coming down at places like Boston. A couple of flakes out there, but it's not really much in the way of accumulation, especially since it was so mild. We have had a lot of mild weather. Just watch, there was a little bit of fog late last night. That has mostly eradicated across the Northeast, and cooler, drier air works in today. As the snow moves out, we will call it a breezy, cool day across most of the Northeast, except for if you're in portions of Virginia and West Virginia. That's where some of that mild air will still hold on. Washington, D.C. still cruising up to 47. New York City a little below historical expectation to move in. Across the Great Lakes, there will be snow setting up, and this is going to be a swath that moves its way on east just in time for Sunday night. You might be, or Sunday afternoon, so you might be thinking, great, my weekend plans are ruined. You will have to deal with some travel problems around Buffalo, for example. 35 for that high with snow coming down. New York City, though, we are not in on the snow threat here. Mid-30s, and Pittsburgh taking off to 48 for the high. It almost feels like a March day. That's that mild air kicking in for us. Let's show you the precipitation, though. We'll start you off lunchtime Sunday, and you can see wintertime, and we know that even just a few snowflakes can disrupt air travel. That's why airports across the country, including in Philadelphia, prepare in advance. That was just one of the challenges we faced with all the cold across the South this past week. Thankfully, not dealing with that today. We are looking at temperatures going back to 70 degrees in Dallas, 64 in Atlanta. Really nice with some sunshine. And guess what? There's no sign of things slowing down in the days to come. We keep things dry and mild. That mild surge actually comes in with enough warmth that we could be challenging records for us. This time of year, we'd expect some of these numbers to be in the lower 50s here for Memphis, Tennessee, but we go up to 70 the time we get something that may be worth it in the Great Lakes as we consistently get kind of those clippings of snow here. We are getting another one as we head through your Saturday across parts of Wisconsin and Michigan. Very mild, though, off towards the southwest. We're heading to 56, the mid-30s. Sunday, this cool air doesn't really stick around too much. You can see some of that warmth trying to work its way back into Minnesota, but there is another cold shot. So basically, as we get the warmth to rebuild, we won't be far away from some of that cool air trying to recharge its way in. That's going to be the story of the upcoming week. Just watch, though, today and the break between the action as the next storm system waits to work in.
Well, thank you so much for sticking with us here on AccuWeather Weekend. For many, January was a long, cold, and snowy day in that report. Now let's head out to the North Central in the short term. The weekend, Chicago, starting off a little on the chillier side, but not terrible. You're at 34 here for your Saturday. We'll jump to 50 by Sunday. Minneapolis, we're expecting a few snow showers here to pass on through. Not necessarily a lot of accumulation in the Twin Cities, but enough to reduce visibility and create some slick spots there on the roadways. Omaha, you're going to be warming up to 54 by the end of the weekend. Not everywhere, though, is going to see a warm up. Some will actually see a cool down the further west up as we are tracking this surge of warm air as the jet stream lifts, building here across a lot of the South and the Ohio Valley and parts of the southern Midwest. Now, when we look at where our across the Midwest, though it is still going to be at least spring-like for areas further south, though it does start to get squashed a little bit there as that rain-snow line does set up Tuesday into Wednesday, where we are anticipating, again, more winter weather across the northern plains and upper Midwest. The recent